between President Trump and the White House. Tell me about this meeting yesterday. You and your colleagues met with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and you talked, I'm guessing, about how this whole DOGE is going to work, the Department of Government Efficiency, how they're going to work with the Office of OMB. But ultimately, it's you guys in that room that are going to be the difference makers here on whether this works or not, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, first of all, we're all excited. Obviously, we've had a lot of great conversations and meetings over the last month. Since the elections, President Trump and his team are getting assembled. We need the Senate to do its job and get out of the way and let President Trump put his team in place, because we've got to deliver for the American people in January. Yesterday, the meeting was a good meeting. We had a pretty strong turnout. We even had a few senators there. Elon and Vivek put forward, a pretty good and very quick summary of how they're approaching it. And, it's so funny watching the media get wrapped around the axle. But, well, what is this? Are they going to be official and formal? And I said, look, the president will come in and set it up how he wants to. The main thing is we have two smart guys who are using technology, crowdsourcing, AI, whatever it takes to expose and identify so much waste, corruption, all the things in government. But the point I made yesterday in the meeting to my colleagues, and I made it to Elon and Vivek, besides talking about OMB and impoundment and things that the president can do to reduce spending and, get rid of waste, is I said to those guys, you've been looking for the problem. Look no further than this room. Because Congress has been the one that has been funding this nonsense. Congress is the one that's supposed to do oversight. Congress's Article 1 is supposed to control the power of the purse, and we haven't. We've walked away from it for crass political purposes, buying votes, feel like, we can't do that because my constituent A needs that tax subsidy or that tax break.
Yeah.
And everybody's walked away from their job. Yeah. So I told these guys, this is going to have to be a two-way street, and the best thing they can do is expose the stupid and then hold Congress accountable to not fund the stupid.
Well, that should be low-hanging fruit, Congressman Roy. I mean, what's interesting is we've heard that there are at least one or two Democrats who are willing to jump on board. Jared Moskowitz said that he'd be interested in participating, and maybe one or two others. Do you think that this is going to be, though, entirely Republican play for all of the recommendations that Elon and Vivek make to President Trump? Is it just going to be Republicans, or do you actually think you can work across the aisle on anything that comes out of this?
I actually think we can, and I think we can work across the aisle, to answer your question, and that's demonstrated by the appointment of Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi and a sort of different coalition, and the fact that some Democrats are interested. But what I want to be clear about is there is a piece to this puzzle, which is, hey, how do you find waste, fraud, abuse, eliminate that, clean up Medicaid, clean up the rolls, clean up what we do with the bureaucrats that are in the administration and how many there's jobs that are duplicative and all of that stuff. Where we can do that, I'm guessing and betting that there will be bipartisan agreement. But again, the problem hasn't always been just Democrats on that. It's Republicans, right? It's this, if you want to use the pejorative term, uniparty. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is the largest driver of all this is ourselves, right? And so when the first two big things that this Congress is doing after getting the election, getting the win in November, is pass a $200 billion windfall Social Security bill that will shorten and move the date forward for Social Security to be bankrupt by almost a year, like 9 months. That $200 billion, this Republican House passed, and now we're talking a disaster supplemental bill of $111 billion to perpetuate the stupidity at FEMA. Yes, we've got people hurting in North Carolina, and yes, we should deliver, but we should pay for it. We're talking about $300 billion. That's my point. Republicans need to look in the mirror. They need to look at their constituents, and they need to deliver. There is no more room in the inn. It's Christmas time, right? There's no more money. We can't keep printing money.
We're speaking with Congressman Chip Roy of Texas, and most specifically about the meeting that was just had on Capitol Hill with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon's son, it should be pointed out.
Yes,
Did he? I hope he kept himself busy there during the meeting there. That could be boring stuff. Is this the kind of thing, we saw the closure of the military bases after the Cold War was won by Ronald Reagan and the Republicans, and that was not easy to do, but the solution was everyone had to feel pain equally across the board. Most congressional districts lost something in that equation. Is that how this works, that everyone's got to feel the pain across the board?
Well, I hope so, but I hope this is much more transformative than even that was, right? Because all we did there was shift around how we're spending defense money. And maybe it was for the better. You know, maybe we took some of those dollars and so forth, and we were able to use that for hard assets or new carriers or whatever it was, or missiles in the 1980s, 90s, and so forth. And so, yes, the answer is yes. Everybody needs to be a part of this. Everybody needs to feel it. Everybody needs to go to their constituencies and say, sorry, I can't do that. The hardest thing I do is look at somebody who has cancer or lost a loved one to cancer, and I had cancer, and tell them, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't agree to this new cancer research funding that's unpaid for, or ALS, or some other thing, or have farmers who I love who are hurting because we've created a disastrous system under SNAP and under the Farm Bill. And now they're hurting, and they want more money, and they're saying, guys, I love you, and I want to help you, but we don't have any more money just to print. Yeah. We've got to get this right. Those conversations are hard. Most of my colleagues refuse to have them. The first thing I did when I was in Congress, I went to the floor of the House. I objected to a $19 billion consent for disaster funding for Harvey, a huge chunk of which was for Texas. You know what happened to most of my friends in Texas? They actually said thank you.
Yeah.
Not the newspaper editorial board, not the powers that be in Congress, but the rank and file constituents and people in Texas said, yes, we wanted some help, but you're right. We can't keep doing this. That's what it's going to take for Congress to get this done.
It is hard to cut cancer research, but Congressman, I want you to know it shouldn't be hard to kill Big Bird. I know we used it. Oh, we like Big Bird. Frankly, that bird annoys the hell out of me. I want you to kill Big Bird. And by the way, he's not going to die because I see all the toys they sell at Target right now. He's going to be just fine without government funding. So let's get rid of that public broadcasting as well.
On PBS, yes.
That's right. And look, there's a lot of those things that we ought to be getting rid of. And again, I go back to, and I've said to my colleagues, if you can't print money, if literally it was banned today, what would you do? You would do what you do for your home budget. You would say, well, we can't take a vacation here because I got to do this. I got a new car. I can't get a fancy new car because I need to get braces for my child. Like, we don't ever do that. Yeah. And until we do, all of the DOGE waste cutting in the world won't help. We got to do both. We need the waste cutting, but we need Congress to grow a spine.
Congressman Chip Roy of Texas, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
If we don't talk to you before Christmas, have a great one.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Take care.
Thank you. And take out Elmo while you're at it, too. That's little.
Oh, Elmo.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I'm telling you that DEI stuff is real.
Oh, I know. I've
seen the programming.